What design criteria is most important when considering a granulator? So I've kind of broken that down into 5 main design criteria that I like to use. There are specific features and designs, and it's going to vary according to the application and the machine that we select. But if you always, what I like to call, follow the flow of material, which means if you picture material being fed into a granulator, going into the hopper, goes down through the cutting area, down through the screen area, and out the base. That's what I mean by follow the flow. If you picture that for every application, it'll kind of give you a good idea of what you're going to need. So the five main design criteria that I like to use when we're talking about granulators is, number 1 is the feed hopper. The feed hopper is where the material is entering into the machine. Now again, that could be manually fed, that could be fed by robot, it could be fed with a feed roll. There are many different ways to feed material into a granulator, but the feed hopper is the point of which the material is entering into the granulator. The feed hopper is the most customized portion of the granulator that we do. We do probably 75% of the machines that we provide to customers have some sort of customized feed hopper to them. So that's one of the benefits of working with Conair and our size reduction team and myself, is that we have a lot of practical experience. We know how to design a feed hopper specifically for an application. So the next part of the machine, if you follow the flow, is the cutting chamber, the rotor, and the screen area. And that's the heart of the machine. That's where all of the that's where all the grinding and the cutting and all the real work is taking place. That's where the material enters into the cutting area, the rotor is spinning, cuts up the material, passes through the screen. The type of cutting chamber we use, the configuration and the geometry of the cutting chamber, the type of rotor that we use, whether it's a 3-blade, a 5-blade, 7-blade, all of those are all our considerations, and they're all part of that second design criteria for sizing a granulator. Next comes the base and the drive. That's kind of the workhorse part of the system. That is where the motor is located. That's the core of the machine, and we look at different types of bases depending on the application. Bases, of course, get heavier and stronger as we get to higher horsepower machines, and the drive systems will vary, again, based on motor size and the type of machine that we're looking at. And then last but not least is the discharge, and that's where the material is going to exit the granulator. The discharge could be many different types, from, like I said earlier, from a vacuum takeoff to a simple manual discharge bin to a blower evacuation. There are many different types of discharge bins. So those are the 5 main design criteria that we consider when we're sizing up a granulator.